All right, Brazen Chariots Easter Battle. We're going to go back to 11th of April 41 to 15th of April 41. Rommel's first approach toward Tobruk, right up the Eladim, or is it Eladim Road? Right here. Straight up this road, runs into the 9th Australian Division, who in turn happens to give Rommel fits.
Rommel had this to say after he finally took Tobruk. Shortly afterwards, a batch of some 50 or 60 Australian prisoners were marched off close behind us, immensely big and powerful men, who, without question, represented an elite formation of the British Empire, a fact that was also evident in battle. Enemy resistance was as stubborn as ever and violent actions were being fought at many points. Erwin Rommel.
So we're going to dive into the history of this battle a little bit before it unfolds. It's going to unfold for me this weekend. I'm going to take the Germans over here at the 5th Leicht Division. Leicht Division. Be playing them here. We got some Italians up in this corner, but they're locked, which is Brazen Chariots' way of saying you cannot touch until you decide to release them. Against the Australians, who are all spread out all over the place here, and they're all locked. And then you have a lot of reinforcements coming in. Now, the Australian reinforcements are dependent on a road being open, whereas the Germans just, get their stuff. Formation markers in play for the Australians here, or the Commonwealth. The Axis have 2 in play, and that's it. So the history of this battle is quite interesting. We'll go into that in a minute here. Now, if you want, you can fast forward or whatever. I know some people aren't interested in history videos. They'd rather get to the good stuff. This battle is not going to unfold, however, until this weekend, but it is set up and ready to go. The victory condition hexes, markers generously supplied by MMP Games for this one, are here, 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 and here. You can capture 2 and get a minor. You can get all 4 and get a major. And the Allies, the Commonwealth, can stop the Axis evil people from doing that and also win. So if we take a look here what we've got, let me just go down this way a little bit more. I want to get that glare fixed for you all. Let me get that light taken care of. All right, the German 5th Light Division. I won't try to use the German word. We've got them made up here. It's the HQ. We've got some support here. We have the 39th Panzerjäger Battalion. Now, some of this, of course, is going to go off map onto an index card because I don't have a color printer, so I haven't printed out the super cool cards that you should be using for this. So on the card, you'll be having, of course, this one will stay out. Support. It's fresh. And then we've got some 88s in here. This is where the main power comes from, the support right here in these 88s. So this is a non-rebuild unit. Let me zoom in for you guys here. It's one of my favorite units in BCS, or units like these where you've got a really strong support with a good action rating and at least a 2 range there, so that's nice. So then that's your HQ and all of its information. Although I am curious, well, I'll probably put 1 in support and yeah, it's a 12 track movement. Leave 1 on the table, maybe. I guess you could do that. In this version of BCS, there is a note in the special rules for only German units and some Italian units. can be placed into support for the axis. So, and then here we have the bulk of of course, the combat train is back here. And then we have the bulk of our units. And this is really, Rommel thought he was just going to drive straight up this road and not have a problem with it, but he had a problem. All right, here we've got the 2nd and the 5th Panzer Battalion. Action rating 5. A 1. All right. And they've taken a 2-step hit. So again, not the best. Don't let that 4-step fool you. And then we've got some infantry underneath there, some motorized infantry. 8th Machine Gun Battalion. So, again, not the best attack force. It's BCS. I'm not the most adept at this system yet. So, as far as Crabby Old Gamer, of course, he's never played it. So, we will take my limited knowledge from AeroCorps and Valley of Tears, and I will teach him and then kind of go from there. And we'll see what a mess we can make of this. And of course, their goal is to move straight up. Now, the Italians here are, they are faced with really just garbage up here. Any inroads they're going to make are going to hit, that's called a escarpment, a perimeter line, and barbed wire. So anything that they're going to even try to do in this direction is going to be a feint and worthless. I really don't see them actually. I don't really understand the point of them in this scenario, but it should be interesting to see what you can do with them. And they're being primarily confronted by the 26 Australian, which is locked. There's even some an Indian unit up here, but I don't really, you know, like, what are you going to do with this? Just getting through this looks like a nightmare. So yeah, I'm not even sure what's going to happen there. There's no air power. There's 1 point of artillery on the German HQ. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. Then you look up here, and of course it'll be up to the Commonwealth to unlock these, and the lock rules are in the scenario book. You know, that'll be up to the Commonwealth player, and I'll have to help decide that with him. I don't really know what he'd want to do with that. And if you look over here, there's this little German machine gun unit just way out in the middle of nowhere over here. Over there in 2130. Really weird. The 2nd Machine Gun Battalion. This is a bypass road. This is not into effect. In this scenario, it has not been built yet, so you can ignore that. All right. That's the setup, and that's just kind of an overview of what this looks like on that day in history. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go into this battle and how the Australians gave the Afrika Korps a fit. So if you want, the game part of this video is kind of done with, and we're going to go into a little bit of history. We're going to take a little trip down this road just to kind of see what all happened as they tried to go up the road to the fabled coastal city of Tobruk, and countless battles fought there.
In April and May 1941, the previously successful blitzkrieg tactics of the German army met defeat by Australian forces of the 9th Division. The Australians achieved victory through employing a combined arms effort with well-supported light infantry and defeated a heavier armored force. The Tobruk fortress was surrounded, but the Germans were widely scattered after a 2-day sandstorm. Streich Group was too far to the east. Prittwitz Group, now the Schwerin Group, moved in from the south, and the Brescia Division was to the west. The 9th Australian Division's success at Tobruk was predicated on the expert application of all available assets in a combined arms effort. This included aerial, mobile, and foot reconnaissance to determine the enemy's location and movements. Also aggressive, deep, and continuous combat patrolling to keep the enemy off balance as well as to deny him ground reconnaissance of friendly positions. The prime causes for the German failure at Tobruk were piecemealing of forces, a poor assessment of the garrison's defensive strength, and overconfidence. These factors affected the ability of the assault forces to retain the initiative and to hold, reinforce, and expand their penetration. In reviewing the Tobruk operations from the point of view of the principles of war, the German attack appeared doomed from the start. In their overconfidence and in their underestimation of the Australians' defensive strength, the Germans failed to adhere to the basic principles of war.